continuing on here with the next film. And that's where we've taken the ferry to Ireland, and we're in Belfast. And in Belfast, we saw the museum area of the Titanic, and also the area, the offices where the original plans for the Titanic ship itself were drawn up. Now, I don't remember them getting into the point where the Titanic was built there. I actually thought it was built in England, but I might be wrong on that. They want you to know that the Titanic, the idea for the Titanic came from somebody in Ireland. So I'm assuming maybe some of the building was done there too, if not all. Okay, we saw in Belfast a peace wall that has just been developed within the last few years, which we were encouraged. The coach actually stopped beside one part of the peace wall, and we were encouraged to go out and sign the wall. And most people that signed it put a little message of, hope or inspiration on there, like, keep up the peace efforts, or, something like that. I didn't go out to do that. I don't know why. I didn't feel it was necessary for me to do that. I think it's really, really good that they have peace going on. I don't mean that I'm against it by any means. I just didn't feel it was necessary for me to sign that wall and put my 2 cents in on that. We were told about some of the battle areas. We were shown some of the battle areas, and one of them in particular that we were told about was just a busy intersection in town. A 4-stop intersection. And it was like, the guy told us that during the day, people were pretty even-tempered. They kind of were tolerant of each other. But once it became nightfall, it was like a war zone. And I couldn't believe, she said that there would be shots fired, yes, there were people killed, but shots fired, battles going on, it was very noisy, and that was at night. But during the day, they maintained tolerance. I can't imagine living in a place like that at that time and having that going on. I cannot fathom the idea. But I'm glad right now they are holding their peace. They are holding peace. I hope it continues. From Belfast, we went south to Dublin. We toured the Guinness Brewery, and we saw how, yes, their beer is made, their ale, beer, whatever you want to call it, their drink is made. And on the top floor of the brewery itself is it's an overlook. The whole floor overlooks the town of Dublin. Beautiful area. And that's where they serve you your free beverage. So while I was up there, I filmed. And that I'm showing you here too. What I found in Dublin especially was a lot of the Georgian architecture on the buildings and the homes around. I found it was very lovely. And in one area in particular, there were colored doors on the houses, and they're row houses. So, you'd have a yellow door, a green door, a blue door, and there was even a pink door. I got that picture coming up too later on. But it was just a form of expression. Their housing area allowed them to do that, and so people went crazy with the idea, I guess, and just decided they were going to paint their doors different colors rather than black. So it was really kind of pretty, actually. Going on from Dublin, in County Wicklow, it's also known as the Garden of Ireland. We went through an ancient monastic site called Glendalough. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled Glendalough. I think they pronounced it Glendalough. That area, that monastery, dated back to the 6th century, and the walls of some of the buildings there, the grave sites, the towers, and that were still there for people to view now. It was in a very beautiful, hilly area, gorgeous scenery, and it seemed to be a very peaceful area too. And of course, outside the monastery area, they had their little booths set up that you could buy souvenirs at, and the lady was in that area playing another form of a bagpipe. She didn't blow into it. She was touching it and making the sounds, if I remember right. But anyway, it was a different type of, a smaller bagpipe than what the bagpipe player in Glasgow was playing. Is there a difference between a Scottish bagpipe and an Irish bagpipe? I don't know, but maybe that's what the difference was. I listened to her for a while, and I filmed a little bit of it, and also took pictures. That night, we had a dinner at a local pub in Dublin, and it was a beautiful pub with very lovely wood throughout, and a huge stairway. We were on the second floor of the building. That's where they had like an entertainment room or reception hall, and we had a formal dinner there, 3-course meal. It was wonderful. I had a steak and Guinness pie. It was a little strong, but it was good. It was a good dinner. Very nice. And after the meal, a couple people from our group, including my friend, went down to the bar area, got behind the bar and poured themselves a glass of beer with the owner, the manager there with them. But they got behind the bar and were helping themselves. So I got a couple pictures of that too. The next day we headed south in Ireland, and we visited an Irish National Stud Farm. That's what it was called. Okay? That was in County Kildare. And that is where racehorses that were retired went for their retirement. And also, there were, it was a stud farm. And at another time of year, they would have some foals running around, but they didn't have any foals at the time we were there. It was out in the country, and they had a Japanese garden. It seemed very remote. It was a beautiful piece of property. And I did take a picture of a couple of the horses that were there that were retired. Okay. We had lunch in Kilkenny, nearby, and that's where I went shopping too, and bought my earrings. Found some beautiful earrings there in a little town. Looked for a purse. My idea was I was going to go and buy a purse. I did not find one. Wherever we went, I looked. I didn't find anything that I really, really liked or wanted to have. And I also wanted earrings. I found some earrings. And I wanted a salt and pepper shaker from Waterford Crystal. After Kilkenny, we headed to Waterford and toured Waterford Crystal. Saw how they made their vases of the different objects that they do put into glass, and had a chance to shop at their gift store, and I did find my salt and pepper shaker there. While there, I remember that the clerk was waiting on me going to get my salt and pepper shakers, and as she opened up the side closet to get what I wanted, we heard a crash. And we were in the display room, and there's tons of crystal all around you, and mobs of people shopping. But we did hear a crash, and we both looked in the direction. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but she looked at me and she goes, it happens every day. I thought, oh my gosh, what did somebody break? And do they charge that person for the breakage, I wonder? I can't imagine. Well, I tucked my purse in tightly, and I made sure that I watched where I was going so I wouldn't run into any glass and make any break, have any breakage on my part. I would have been so embarrassed if it had been me to do the breakage. I really would. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine having to pay for it on top of it. But anyway, I did get my salt and pepper shaker, and I haven't used them yet here at home, but I love them. They're very, very nice. And I will use them for every day. And remember where I got them, when I got them, and just appreciate them a lot. Okay. The next day, we headed south out of Ireland to catch the ferry over to Wales. Yep, we were done with Ireland. And our journey took us to Cardiff, where we toured the Cardiff Castle there. And what I find very interesting, and a lot of these towns are, I'll call them towns because they're bigger than a village right now, but you'll have your castle in one area, and it's surrounded by a wall, but right across from it, like right over a road from it, right across the street from it, is the downtown area, shopping area. residential area, very near the regular normal populace. So yes, right across the street from Cardiff Castle was the downtown area. So toward the castle, there were several different buildings within the castle wall area on the castle grounds. One of them was the keep, and I took pictures of that and showed you. It was a tall building on a hill. You had to walk up many, many steps to get to it, and I just couldn't do that, so I had to forego that one. But that was called the Castle Keep. And there was also like a bell tower, and I took pictures of that. You'll see those later. But I did tour the castle itself, and it's very ornate, very nice inside, very decorative. And I took pictures of basically the pictures that you see or will see are of the ceiling. The ceilings in these places are so ornate, so much decoration put into the ceiling. I don't understand why exactly, but there's a lot of artwork and decoration in the ceilings in some of these places. You got to check it out. But you'll see that in my pictures as well. Okay? I shopped around a little bit downtown, but not a lot. There really wasn't anything that I was that interested in buying. I typically buy postcards, maybe a souvenir pin, maybe a refrigerator magnet. That's my type of souvenir. Sometimes I'll splurge, like I did in Scotland, on a sweatshirt because it was cold in Scotland and cold in Ireland. But I don't really go all out with buying a lot of different type of souvenirs. That night, we had our farewell dinner, farewell to the tour type of dinner, and it was a group dinner at a vineyard in the area. It was a small vineyard, a family run. We met the family. It was, the dad and mom and 2 sons and their families. They all live on the same property. It's a small, I think I said small vineyard. They gave tours of the vineyard, and they had some farm-type animals that you could go see and pet or whatever. And then, other than the homes on the property, they had a lovely little park area with a small lake in the middle of it. And also where we had our dinner was at a small reception building. It was a lovely dinner of regional-type foods, which was a lovely way to end the evening and the trip. The adventure of Great Britain. Okay. The next day, our last day on the tour, actually, we headed to Bath in England and to the Roman spas there, the Roman baths. It just amazes me that you can still, centuries later, see this area as it kind of was. I mean, yes, it's not new like it was newly built or anything, but it's still in good shape. The statues all around, above the spa area, the tunnels underneath that are the hallways that you walk through to get to the spa. It is amazing to me that this area is still not functioning. It's not functioning as a spa, but it is still there for you to see and appreciate and learn from. I toured that before several years ago, and it's still, pretty much the same, but it was just interesting for me to see it again. And it's a very interesting stop-off. After that, we hit the road again, and the next stop was Stonehenge. And as I mentioned before, I've been by the Stonehenge area on the motorway before, never stopped in to see what it was about, couldn't see it from the road at all, because it's tucked back into the countryside. But our coach tour did take us back there this time. It's a bit of a walk back to the actual stone area, but it is an amazing sight. And if you haven't seen it, if you've been over there, it's very well worthwhile going. It's back in the countryside. There were sheep grazing near the Stonehenge area. I took pictures of all that. You can't get real close to the stones because in the past, people would go and take samplings, chip off at the stones, so they decided to build a barrier around the stone areas, as close as we could to the stone structures. Still a little bit of a distance away from them, but close enough to get a good view of them and see the tremendous work that was done centuries ago by who knows? Who knows who? I can finally say that I saw Stonehenge close up. You know, even though scholars have concluded, they've made their own conclusions as to the purpose of the structure, how it was developed, and that sort of thing, I believe there's still a lot of mystery surrounding Stonehenge. How did they manage to build such a tremendous stone structure in a certain formation? What does that formation mean exactly? You know, who built it for sure? What purpose does it have exactly? It's a mystery. We left Stonehenge later that afternoon. It was a very hot afternoon, actually. But we left later in the afternoon, and we made our way to London. And our coach dropped us, most of us, off at the hotel where we started the trip from. A lot of people were staying the night and leaving early in the morning the next day. Some were leaving that evening right away. Some were going on to other locations within London for some reason. But my friends and I were staying at that same hotel for another few nights because we opted to stay in London on our own for a few more days to tour on our own and do some sightseeing in London. Also some shopping. Titanic Memorial, Belfast, Ireland.
Get round this corner, take a look in front of you. You'll see the red brick building and the two little grey buildings beside it. The red brick building there to your left, that's the original headquarters of Harland and Wolff. And the two little grey buildings, they're the drawing offices. And that's where Thomas Andrews and his team of marine architects designed the plans of Titanic by hand. No Apple Macintoshes back in those days or computer-aided design. Now the offices, the drawing office and the red brick building down at the far end, that is all now a 5-star hotel. And because it's a very important listed building, all the original features have been maintained in it. So it's a very historic building for Belfast.
Outside the Guinness Brewery in Dublin, Ireland. It's a beautiful brewery. 7 floors. The history is amazing. Inside the Guinness Brewery, Dublin, Ireland. This is the Guinness Festival clock. Just a scale model, but it does operate every quarter hour, it says. Just a few limited edition t-shirts that you can buy here at the little gift store, but they are quite expensive. Limited edition. Not sold even in the gift shop downstairs here at Guinness Brewery. You can have a sample of the Guinness right in here. Overlooking Dublin, Ireland, from the Guinness Brewery. 7 floors up. I at Waterford Crystal in Waterford, Ireland. Shopping the shop before going on the tour to see if I find anything that I might want to get afterwards. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful crystal. I love crystal. Oh my gosh. Lovely. About €2,000. This place is bigger than I expected it to be. I've got a lot of shopping to do. So I'm off to shop. I'm only looking for salt and pepper shakers, but hey, I can look at all the other pretty stuff too. Okay, I found what I wanted. It's called a round salt and pepper set. It's probably about 3.5 inches tall and stainless steel top. And then I understood that they put a rubber band around there, a band of rubber around the top. Okay. I do have the footed pair, but I don't really care for that one that much. I like the shorter ones for everyday use. That's everyday use. I have a good pair for formal. Waterford crystal clock. Grandfather clock. Actually, it's called the William Maddock clock. Oh my goodness. Intricate work on there. It's a new mold. A new mold for a new base.
With a blowing iron. And those are trained craftspeople. As I said, temperature-wise, it's pretty hot. It's 1400 degrees Celsius. It's 2400 degrees Fahrenheit. Furnaces are on electricity. And the main one, that is, the portable one is on gas, natural gas. The apprenticeship is for 5 years, and commencing is beyond reproach. Craftsmanship is after years and years of training, after years of putting together the different pieces.
Oh, there's the blow into it.
There you have it. You have some shaping going on here before it's going to be put into a cast iron mold. You have the commencement of crystal here, which is going to be used for the making of what are you doing, lads? Edgar.
Oh, back in. Taking the crystal after it's all blown and dried and cooled, getting it ready for shipping out. Look at that. Look at this telephone. I love it. Love it. Very intricate. This is in the sculpting department of Waterford. Look at this gorgeous piano. Oh my gosh. More sculpted crystal. A lovely piece.
Down on the second table, some of the pieces we have. At the back of the table, it says, see the big piece on the wooden bit? That's the Waterford City coat of arms. Now, some of you might know who the logo for Waterford is the seagulls. So, but over time they swap things.
Mikey Tillman, my gosh.
So this is where our logo comes from. Again, at the front of the table to the right, you'll see there's a big bowl. Have a look at the bacon that's used.
Lovely, lovely crystal. Oh my gosh.
Copper. Yeah, but they won't cut the crystal. That's why they have to dip it in the paste, the carborundum paste. It's the paste that cuts the crystal, not the copper. Yeah. But then the copper is soft so they can keep a good fine edge on it. That's why they use that. Okay, Sean.
Very special.
Big award.
I'm very nervous, crafted it. And they do the most
Look at all the
important
tools.
pieces.
Oh,
Lovely.
lovely.
This is called sculpting now.
This is Waterford Crystal in Waterford, England. Oh, Waterford, Ireland. I've been on the tour. It was very interesting. I bought some salt and pepper shakers. Very pretty. Nice little town. But boy, you can tell that the main attraction is Waterford Crystal. Oh, it's very hot inside. The breeze outside feels wonderful. Taking the ferry across from Ireland to the coast of Wales to travel up to Cardiff for the night. Travel up to Cardiff for the night. This is Cardiff Wells, and it's the Cardiff Castle. Behind those walls, anyway. There's the clock tower. Cardiff Castle. In Bath, at the Roman Bath, and you can hear the cathedral bells ringing. It's Saturday. This is the Roman Bath. The bottom of the Roman Bath, and you can see the statues all the way around at the top. That's where I originally took a film. Okay, and this is all around at the bottom of the bath where they entered the water.